high fashion, busy modern cities, and stunning ancient history. Welcome to Japan, a place of colour and beauty, where kids today can play in peace. But one part of Japan will be remembered for one thing. It happened 70 years ago, and it changed the world forever. I've come to the city of Hiroshima, nearly 800 kilometers from the capital city, Tokyo. It all looks like a normal Japanese city with bright lights and lots of shops, but things were very different on this day in 1945. It's hard to imagine that the world's most powerful bomb was dropped out of a plane aiming for this very spot. What happened next shocked the world, and I wanted to find out more about what led up to that devastating moment and what happened afterwards. 1945, the Second World War, the biggest war the world had ever seen, was coming to an end. There were celebrations in Europe after Germany surrendered. But on the other side of the world, in the Pacific, Japan was still fighting against America, Britain, and other allies. Japan had been at war for many years. It had invaded the countries near to it and attacked America. Everywhere the Japanese soldiers went, they were known for their cruelty. They treated prisoners of war very badly, including American and British soldiers who had surrendered, despite there being strict rules about how to look after them. In Japan, people were taught that fighting for their country and loving their emperor was more important than anything else. Even children were taught to fight from a very early age. They were given training to be ready if Americans ever invaded Japan. They were told never to give in. But the Americans had a secret plan to end the war by using the most powerful weapon ever created: the nuclear or atomic bomb. The way it was built meant it had huge power, enough to destroy whole cities on its own. Although the scientists were proud of what they achieved, it scared them as well. It would change the world and cause mass destruction and death. But the American president, Harry Truman, wanted to use it because he believed it would end the war more quickly and so save millions of lives. At 8:15 in the morning of the 6th of August 1945, an American bomber plane dropped the bomb on the city of Hiroshima. A flash of blinding light, and then a giant cloud shaped like a mushroom. The devastation was beyond anything seen before. The city was immediately flattened. Thousands and thousands of people were killed. Many were badly injured. But the suffering didn't end there. Because it wasn't just a normal bomb, the nuclear radiation released when it exploded caused people to suffer horrible illnesses, sometimes for many years. Even then, Japan didn't surrender. So 3 days later, another nuclear bomb was dropped by the Americans on the Japanese city of Nagasaki. On the 15th of August 1945, Japan finally admitted defeat. The Second World War came to an end. Hiroshima was rebuilt, and as you can see, it's like any other city, but right here is a reminder of the past. This is the atomic bomb, or A-bomb dome, and it was the only building left standing. It's been kept exactly the way it was when the bomb dropped to remind people what happened. One of the children who was there when the bomb was dropped was 14-year-old Bun Hashisume. She's now 84 and wants to share her story with us.
Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. よくいらっしゃいました、遠いところ。
Bun, it's a pleasure to meet you. Can you tell me your story?
私は幼い時、赤ちゃんの時から小さいので。
When I was young, I lived in the town of Saka near Hiroshima with my mother, father, brothers and sisters. Our house was right by the ocean. I enjoyed watching the sunset, picking flowers and exploring the village. Sometimes I would climb to the top of trees so I could see the beautiful ocean glittering in the sunshine. My best friend Hitoshi would wait for me under the tree and we would spend hours chatting about our hopes for the future. I liked him a lot, so when he told me he wanted to be a writer when he grew up, I replied, I will be a poet then. The morning of the bomb was just like any other. I remember Mom was at home and I was getting ready to walk to work at Ministry of Communications in Hiroshima. Because so many young men were away fighting in the war, there weren't enough people to do all the jobs. So children like me were made to leave school and go to work instead. I was standing by a window on the third floor when I saw a powerful flash. I thought the sun had fallen down in front of my eyes. In a split second, I saw rainbow-colored rays everywhere. That was the moment the bomb exploded. I must have lost consciousness because when I woke up, I wasn't by the window and I realized I hurt my head. Somehow I got up and started heading outside. A woman helped me walk to the hospital. Our city was completely destroyed, and on the way I noticed how there were no buildings, no cats or dogs, even birds or butterflies. There were just people wandering around in a daze, covered in ash. At some point the next day, I woke up. I really missed my mom, so I headed across town. But fires were still burning all around, so I had to be careful. Close to home, I saw 3 people approaching me. "Is that really you?" one of them screamed. It was my mother, my older sister, and my aunt. Sadly, my brother didn't make it. He was badly hurt and died. It all seemed like a dream. I just couldn't understand what had happened. I left Hiroshima in my 20s. For years, I couldn't even talk about the bomb. But my family persuaded me to share my story. Then I became a poet just like I discussed all those years ago with Hitoshi. I never dreamed it would actually happen. Because of the radiation from the bomb, I've suffered many health problems like bad headaches and tiredness. But doctors in Tokyo have been looking after me. I got married and I have 3 sons of my own. I also have 4 grandchildren. I speak to them as much as I can. Despite everything, I don't hate the people who dropped the bomb. I can say I was able to witness how wonderful humans can be after losing everything. But I will never forgive the fact that humans dropped an atomic bomb on other humans.
されないことです。
I've also come to Hiroshima because I want to hear the story of another girl who, like Bun, was in this city at the time of the bomb. Sadako was just 2 when the bomb was dropped. Somehow she wasn't hurt. But like Bun, the radiation from the blast made her ill. Sadako heard of an old Japanese legend. If you make 1,000 paper cranes, you'll be granted a wish. So she started folding. Sadako wanted to wish that she'd get well. Sadly, aged 12, she passed away before completing her task. But her friends carried on for her, and soon children from around the world were sending their paper cranes to Hiroshima. There were so many, a memorial was built in the city for Sadako and all the children affected by the bomb, and still now, every day, new cranes arrive. 2 of those children are here today, Charlie and Marissa, and they're from Tokyo. So girls, you have your beautiful paper cranes. How do you feel about hanging them here at the memorial?
I feel like this is a really good opportunity to hope for peace in the rest of the world and also in Japan for all the people who went through the event of the atomic bomb.
What do you think would be your lasting memories of this trip?
For me, it would be the paper cranes because they're really colorful and good and really well folded, and it shows that all of the people from all over the world care about this one event that happened.
Why was it important for you to come on this trip and to be here?
I think it was important because I got to see the items that were left behind and the statue that I wanted to see.
Sadako was this 12-year-old girl who died of cancer because of the radiation, and she believed that if she made 1,000 paper cranes, then her cancer would go away.
She was very hopeful and positive, so I think that's why it was so inspirational to other people. It shows how much people care about her and her story and the rest of Japan and what happened to it.
I think it's time, we're ready. Let's hang up those cranes, go for it. What do you think it's made you feel, seeing all of these sites, Sadako's story and the A-dome?
It made me feel like I should appreciate everything that I have, and looking at the dome and everything that was destroyed and the people that were killed in this event, we have a lot compared to that.
It's incredible to know that Sadako and her bravery inspired this Children's Peace Memorial. It was Sadako's wish to have a world without nuclear weapons. Today, some countries still do have them, including the UK. Some campaigners say there's no place in the world for such dangerous weapons, and they want all governments to get rid of them. Others say having such destructive weapons will protect you, even if you never use them. On the 6th of August every year, people from all around the world come here to float brightly coloured lanterns down the river. They contain messages of peace. The people of Japan say this eternal flame will stay lit until there are no more nuclear weapons in the world. After such a terrible event, there's no bitterness here. The people of Hiroshima want the world to know what happened to their city to prevent it from ever happening again. I'm left with a sense that whatever people go through, however tough, it doesn't have to stay that way. And there can be hope out of some of the darkest times.